In a moment, Chancellor Sherry Everetts will begin our program. Chancellor Everetts is Appalachian State's 8th leader. Under her guidance and leadership, Appalachian State has established itself as the premier public undergraduate institution in the Southeast. Just a few things to note about where we are under Dr. Everett's leadership. Enrollment has grown to nearly 21,000 students. Where's Oliver Adams, who I met earlier on, if he's still in here? He was just telling me the story of a relative of his who used to walk 14 miles in 1934 to attend university. I wonder what he would have thought about the 21,000 students who are here today. The overall retention rate is third in the UNC system. Retention rates for underrepresented students are fifth in the UNC system. Enrollment of underrepresented students has increased by 66%. 18% of App State students are from underrepresented populations, and nearly 1/3 of the total undergraduate population are first-generation college students, and just over 1/3 come from rural areas. App State regularly earns national rankings for academic excellence. U.S. News and World Report has ranked Appalachian State as number 1 in the most innovative schools and number 2 in best undergraduate teaching, both for the second consecutive year. Chancellor Everetts was named as the vice president of the NCAA Division I Sun Belt Conference, in which Appalachian participates in 15 of the 17 varsity sports in the conference. She has steadfastly led Appalachian State through its most challenging years in recent history. Over the last 2 years, the university has helped protect the health and well-being of the university community and the greater Boone area by contributing nearly 20,000 meals for university and local community members who were in isolation or quarantined due to COVID, conducting more than 93,000 COVID tests, which were free for students, faculties, and staff, and administered more than 7,000 vaccines to students, faculty, staff, and community members. And in November, Chancellor Everetts opened the App State at Hickory campus, which will welcome students in the fall of 2023. So, Chancellor Everetts, thank you for bringing your welcome to the group today.
Thank you so much, Phil, for not only that kind welcome, but for all of the work that you do for App State. As he mentioned, he is not only the treasurer of the university's foundation board, but he also is chair of the Walker College of Business Advisory Board. Thank you, and was also served on the search committee for our newest dean. Congratulations and thank you. You know, as I was listening to Phil's introduction of me, it reminded me how many people in the room thought that when they were growing up, they'd like to be a chancellor during a global pandemic. Anybody? Didn't think so. I just thought I'd ask you that question. Welcome, everyone, to this very, very special celebration. It was so important to be able to celebrate in person, and we are very pleased to be able to do so today. Phil, I appreciate your mentioning the App State Hickory campus. On Tuesday, we held a community leaders breakfast there for more than 80 representatives from the General Assembly, local government, education, business, and community development. It was evident that they were well aware of the quality and reputation of App State's Walker College of Business. Nevertheless, just in case they didn't know, I shared with them that the Walker College has the highest full-time undergraduate business enrollment in the University of North Carolina system. I just want to pause there. That it is consistently named one of the best business schools by the Princeton Review, and that its Master of Business Administration program has been internationally recognized as among the best in the world for 6 consecutive years. Give yourselves a round of applause. These are really just a fraction of the many successes realized by the 8 deans who established, grew, and advanced the Walker College of Business. In the last 50 years, more than 30,000 App State alumni have graduated from the college, and they live, work, and contribute to communities throughout the state of North Carolina, the nation, and the world. I congratulate each of you here today, the deans who lead and led the progression of the college and continued its momentum, the faculty who teach and mentor our students with excellence and conduct stellar research, the staff who support our faculty and administration and ensure that our students have entrepreneurship opportunities as well as internships, assist them with career development, and serve in countless other support roles. Our remarkable students who succeed in so many ways, who often remain in touch with us, and who make us so very, very proud. You have built and built upon a reputation of distinction for the Walker College of Business and for App State. Thank you so much for your longstanding and continued commitment to excellence. Congratulations.
All right. Thank you, Chancellor Everett. I'm pleased now to introduce who was the 7th Dean of the Walker College and currently Appalachian State's Provost and Executive Vice Chancellor, Dr. Heather Norris. Provost Norris joined Appalachian State in 2003 as a faculty member in the Department of Finance, Banking, and Insurance. She rose through the ranks, becoming our 7th permanent dean in 2016. That's a role that she held for 6 years. Under her leadership, the college renewed its focus on experimental learning, expanded opportunities for global and civic engagement, and sustainable and resilient business became the foundation of all of the college's programming. It was then that the college coined the motto, "Business for Good." As provost, Dr. Norris is a key member of Chancellor Everett's leadership team, serving as the university's chief academic officer. In this role, she has helped lead faculty through the many challenges of teaching and conducting research during a global pandemic. We're honored to have her back at her home college today. So please join me in welcoming Provost Heather Norris.
Thank you, Phil, and I echo Chancellor Everett's thanks to you for your service to App State. It's been a pleasure serving with you. Hello, everyone. Today is a special day as we celebrate 50 years of incredible achievements by the Walker College of Business, and as we look forward to a bright future ahead. When our College of Business was founded in 1970 with only one department, the Department of Economics and Business, which moved from the College of Fine and Applied Arts, our professors began a legacy of a business school at App State that educates and inspires students to be critical thinkers, creative problem solvers, and sought-after employees. Phil noted at the beginning of today's program that the Walker College has had 8 deans. We were very proud to name its 8th dean earlier this week. Congratulations, Sandy Vanoy, on being selected as dean. Through a competitive national search. We look forward to your continued leadership. During its history, the Walker College of Business has not only focused on developing transformational leaders in business, it has also been transformed as each leader built upon the success of the one before, focusing on student preparation, meeting industry needs, and fostering community leaders. I join Chancellor Everett's thanks to the faculty and staff of the Walker College for their outstanding work, as well as our past and present Walker College leaders for their significant contributions. I am so proud of our business students and their many successes, as well as our alumni who are superb representatives of Appalachian State University and the Walker College. You are all remarkable leaders in business who are doing business for good in our local and global communities. Thank you.
Thank you, Provost Norris. The very first dean of the Walker College of Business, Dr. William Muse, led the college from 1970 until 1973, before he left the university to become president of the University of Akron, Auburn University, and then was chancellor of East Carolina University. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Muse.
Thank you very much. I'm delighted to be here to help celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Walker College of Business. My wife, Marlene, was scheduled to be with me, but she has an injury and was not able to travel. So I brought along our daughter, Ellen, who is a graduate of the Lucy Brock Nursery School. And so we took a tour of that facility this morning, and we're just so impressed by the continued work that it is doing. Ellen went on to earn a master's degree at the University of Cincinnati and is currently the executive director of a major arts academy, a school in the Cincinnati area, and was recently named as one of the 10 outstanding women in the city of Cincinnati. So Ellen, would you stand to be recognized? When I began my work here at ASU, I had only 6 years of higher education experience and was 31 years old. I had graduated from the University of Arkansas with my PhD. First teaching job was at Georgia Tech, and then I moved to Ohio University and was there for 5 years and just had a great opportunity there because I moved to be a department head at age 27, and then moved to be the director of research for the college. And it was there that I learned about Appalachian. I had never heard of Appalachian at that time, but Harvey Lewis was the, Harvey Durham, I'm sorry, was at the Ohio University as on an ACE fellowship working on the provost office. And he kept coming over to the business school to attend different events, and we became good friends. And he finally got me aside one day and he said, "Let me tell you about Appalachian State." And he said, you know, this was a school. I said, "Where is that?" And he told me about that. And he said it was a state teachers college a few years ago, and then was named a state university as a part of the University of North Carolina system. And they have gotten authorization to establish a business school. And would you be interested in being considered for dean? I said, well, that's kind of an intriguing kind of situation. I'd at least be willing to consider it. So I was invited to come down to the campus for a visit, and I was just absolutely overwhelmed by the beauty of this area, and also greatly influenced by the enthusiasm that Chancellor Herbert Way had for establishing a business school. So when I was offered the job a few weeks after that, I accepted. And when we moved down here in the summer of 1970 with my wife and 3 young kids, I was taking on a very significant responsibility. And I began to understand more fully what I was going to have to do. I had to, one, establish a curriculum that met the standards of the AACSB, the American Assembly of Collegiate Schools of Business. I had to determine what the organizational structure was going to be for the college. I had to recruit faculty and staff to fill the positions. I had to attract students into the business schools and the business school, and I had to establish a reputation around the state so that students would have a job once they graduated. Other than that, you know, it's a piece of cake. Well, Dr. Way allowed me to hire a member of his staff, a young lady named Ruth Ann Cook, as my administrative assistant, a secretary. And she knew everybody on campus and was able to help me get the resources and the support that I needed. I found that a guy named Carl Massier had been an outstanding head football coach here, retired from that position. He had a master's degree in business, so I hired him to come over and be an assistant dean, figuring he could help recruit students and could also be the advisor to those. And then I had a young man walk into my office one day named John Wilson. He had graduated from Chapel Hill, had a Harvard MBA, and was a son of the founder of Henry Don Furniture, which I think was in Hickory. I'm not sure exactly where it was located. And he was just kind of intrigued by this new business school. So the more we talked, I said, you got to come to work for me, because I want you to take me all around the state to meet the business leaders. That's a very important thing. Business firms in this state need to know that Appalachian State has got a business school, and they're going to be turning out some outstanding graduates you need to consider. So he did, and we ended up forming a advisory council. I think about 32 leading businessmen around the state. We established an internship program so the students could have work experience for which they could get academic credit, and that the business firms would know that there are outstanding students coming out of the business school at Appalachian State. We established an executive in residence program, and I brought experienced business executives here to teach for a term. Originally just across the state of North Carolina, and I put an ad in the Wall Street Journal, and I got applications from all over the country and brought people from other places here to be a part of the executive in residence program. By the end of my third year here, we had a curriculum that met ACSB standards. We had an organizational structure that included departments of accounting, finance, business administration, which included marketing and management. And then we had the economics and business folks that I inherited when we came. At that time, the business school had an enrollment of 1,200 students, which I think was close to 20% of the enrollment at the university at that time. And we had 40 faculty and staff. So I was very pleased with the progress that we made and thankful for the opportunity that ASU had given me. My experience here propelled me to be dean of two additional business schools, including Texas A&M, and then to be head chancellor or president of 3 major universities, including 10 years at Auburn University. And believe me, that was a lot of work. So I'm very, very pleased for the experience I had here at Appalachian State, and just absolutely excited about what I have seen and the growth of this campus and the leadership that you have. So thank you very much.
Hello, welcome to AppTV. I'm Nate McDonald, and this week is National Transfer Student Week here at Appalachian State University. And actually, the transfer services are holding an event today from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. where they're going to have free food and questions for anyone who's wondering about their transfer program. I'm going to see if I can get a few questions myself.
Hi, I'm Matt Huntinar. I'm the Associate Director for Transfer, Transition, and Engagement with Transfer Admissions and Engagement. And this week we're celebrating National Transfer Student Week. So we have events every day designed to, support transfer students. We want to, educate our campus community so they understand, more about transfer students, and really celebrate that 1 out of 4 students at App State is a transfer student. And so today we're in front of the Belk Library, and we've got Spin to Win. We've given out donuts this morning, and now we're doing pizza. We're very grateful that the Belk Library has partnered with us for this event.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. So what would you say are the sort of resources that transfer services provide for incoming transfer students?
That's a great question. So we help First, we help all students because all students, transfer or traditional, bring in transfer credit, either through AP credit or a community college or another school. So from the very beginning, when they are applying, we articulate their credit, and then we have transfer orientation. And then once they get here, we have events and welcome to App, because we know that students, transfer students, they may struggle with acclimating to this new campus, the new university surroundings. And then once they're here, we have events to keep them engaged. So we have the Transfer Student Organization, Tau Sigma, which is the National Honor Society. And one of the groups that I'm very proud of is the Transfer Student Mentors. And those are students that transferred to App and they had a successful transition, and now they help other students transfer. But the other things we do is we help with a little bit of advising for incoming students, but once they get here, we just continue to support them until they their entire journey, hopefully till graduation.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. So what would you say the rate of transfer students looks like this year as compared to former years?
It's good. App State has done very well with our first year numbers and our transfer numbers. This semester, we welcomed about 1,200 transfer students, which is about the same number we did last year. In January, we hope to welcome another 400 transfer students. So we're, App State, we're fortunate that we really haven't seen a decline in the number of transfer students. We're real happy too that this year we partnered with University Housing, and we have a residence hall that is dedicated to transfer students, Mountain Laurel Hall, and it's the largest on-campus transfer student community at App State. So we're very fortunate for that. Yes.
Well, thank you so much for this interview. I love this event and I can't wait to see more of it.
When one arrives in Boone, you pretty quickly feel embraced by the mountains. The same thing happens here at the university. When you are a student here at the College of Business, you're embraced by the Appalachian community.
The name Appalachian State University, it means something and it connects with people. The experience goes beyond academics. There's a culture here. Everywhere I go, I wear that golden A. I take pride in that. It's not something that you find everywhere.
One of the things that's great about Appalachian is it has the resources of a big school, but the small school community.
Professors here take such an important view of how they can impact the lives of students.
That's the reason why we're here, supporting the students, seeing that they're successful both in their time here and then as they graduate.
We have a remarkable connection between faculty and students.
We have some of the leading voices in the field, so it really creates an intellectually vibrant environment.
We have the smaller class sizes, we've got high faculty engagement, and it really sets us apart.
These students are phenomenal. These students are, in my opinion, going to be the change seekers and change makers in the world, not only through their professional skills, but also because of the passion they have got for making this world a better place.
A lot of people think of school as coming to the classroom and then going home and doing homework. At the Walker College, it's not like that.
We're really trying to rethink how we deliver education, what the purpose of education is. Really trying to break that hierarchy of the professor being out in front with all the great ideas and instead saying, you know what, everybody has great ideas.
They're figuring out those solutions through innovative thinking, through an innovative process.
Innovation is the edge. We are trying very hard to push our students to think in ways that they can not only think outside the box, but what kind of positive impacts they will be able to make in the world.
Having these different opportunities really sets our college apart.
We're trying to prepare the leaders of tomorrow by giving them ways of thinking about problems so they come up with solutions that are meaningful.
The students hit the ground running. They are the most technically competent, ready to go day one student. You know, when you get out into the business environment, that's the attitude you have to have.
Hiring an Appalachian graduate, as an employer, I know that I've got someone who can come in and hit the ground running.
One of the phrases you'll hear used often in the College of Business is business for good. We want our students going out in the world and helping to make it better by using business practices that can help.
I'm thankful for the transformational experience that Appalachian has given me. This college has shaped me both as a person and, I think, a servant leader.
Being a Mountaineer and being part of the Walker College of Business has shaped who I am today.
I'm really excited to enter the workforce with the skills that I've gained here.
For me, Appalachian really represents family. You know, I don't know where I would be without my Appalachian experience. I'm proud to be a Mountaineer in so many ways.
Any student that comes out of the Walker College of Business is extraordinarily prepared to be successful and to make a difference in the world.
If you want to be able to work side by side with faculty, students, staff, community partners, and industry, we want you to be part of our family.
Thank you, Dr. Muse. And by the way, War Eagle. I have 2 grads from Auburn in my family. But my heart's still here. Everybody knows that. Next, I'd like to invite Walker College's 3rd Dean, Dr. Paul Combs, to speak. Dr. Combs served the college from 1982 until 1989, and during this time, all business majors rose in popularity, with 43% of App State's juniors declaring business majors during this time, and the college's enrollment first rose above 3,000. That included me, by the way, during that time. So please join me in welcoming back to campus Dr. Combs.
I was going to start off by saying I love 3-minute speeches, and then I heard Bill. So that might not be appropriate. But I know from your side of the podium that I would love 3-minute speeches even more. But at any rate, I am glad to be here. It's good to get back and see some people I know and a lot of new people. I've kept up with the university a little bit by a friend of mine, Tim Perry, who keeps up with everything that goes on, and just by being in the local area so much. I'm sorry about that.
We'll talk later.
What I thought I might want to do is try to sort of put in perspective where we were as a university and where you folks seem to have come since I was here. I consider Bill Muse as sort of the founding dean of the college, and nobody's mentioned Rich Sorensen yet, but Rich was a very good leader for the college. He was what I would consider the dean who got the college really established, and then. During my time, I think we were involved not just at the college level, but at the university level in making a transition from the sort of tradition of being a teacher's college, although we had long gotten past that name, but making a transition from being a teacher's college to actually being a university, and to being a university in the sense of recognizing that faculty were not just teachers. I think we talked about the sort of 3-legged stool of teaching, public service, and research. And that's what really makes a university what a university is. And I mentioned the transition concept. There are a couple of things I remember. One, I won't mention names, but we had a chancellor during my early years here who would say, and he was a good chancellor, I might add that, but he was famous for saying, "Give me a book and I can teach anything." Then sometime later, I guess it was during the time when I was dean, we had a campus-wide strategic planning process. And some of us advocated for being more research-oriented, and I think there was a general understanding that we needed to do that. But that planning process kind of resulted in us defining ourselves as being primarily a teaching institution, which is okay, except that it de-emphasized the need to grow the faculty and for the faculty to grow themselves. And so those are, and then I think over time, the people who followed, Chancellor Peacock, Dean Peacock, built on that concept. And I'm very proud of what you have here now, what we have here now. One final comment, I always considered this university to be a very important part of the region. And I considered that we had leadership responsibilities beyond what was just here at the institution. So thanks for having me. I appreciate the chance to comment on it.
All right, thank you, Dr. Combs. Next, it's my pleasure to ask Dr. Kenneth Peacock to bring his comments on his time as the 5th dean of the college, a role he assumed in 1992, and he held through 2003 when, of course, he became Appalachian's 7th chancellor. And, of course, as you know, Peacock Hall is now named in his honor. So, Dr. Peacock, I'd like to welcome you up. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil, and thank all of you for coming. As I stand here today, actually in the shadow of the College of Business building, I can't help, I gotta be honest with you, I feel the presence of so many great leaders that have come before us. And I can't stand here to celebrate the 50th anniversary without thinking for just a moment about Kathy Fitzpatrick and the difference that she made, Ron King in marketing, Bert Bowden in finance and economics, Charlie Spear, Gene Butts with his commitment to Beta Alpha Psi, so many of the others, John Thomas when he returned and taught in the Department of Management, great people who have done so much to shape this college. It was a wonderful 50 years, and many of those people are here, but some can't be with us, but I feel their presence as I go by that building and I think about them and what a difference that they made in my life. I was reading a book recently and the author had written, this is the quote, "Our lives are no more than the sum of what we gave our attention." Yeah. And these people I've mentioned and so many others have given young people in education their attention, and they have made a difference in our lives. The Walker College over these 50 years was built by professionals who cared about others and who wished to make an impact on their lives, and they certainly did that. Thanks to Paul Combs, who was the dean when I came, Paul one day asked me to start some administrative work, if I would consider that. Paul's got a way of convincing you very quietly and softly, and before you know it, you're hooked. You're just caught here. But he gave me the opportunity, so I moved downstairs and worked with him, and he would say, "I want you to see if you can start some international programs." And I said, "International programs?" He said, "Yeah." And I said, "You mean like go somewhere else?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, Paul, one time I got to go to Virginia." He said, "I was thinking about other things, big things." So actually, I started working on that, and I took a trip with Paul and Polly, my wife and I did. Wonderful trip. We learned a lot, a truly learning experience. And then I decided I want to take a real challenge in life. And my challenge was to get my department chair, Jim Jones. Jim, who is as tight as anyone can be, he does have the first dollar that he ever made at Appalachian. I don't question that one bit. Jim and Elaine now live in a neighborhood close by to us. I was talking with them the other day, and Jim said, you know, we've moved here, we've made this decision, but if I don't like it in 2 months, I can get my money back. Yeah. I said, I don't think that works that way, Jim. I don't believe so. But he says, that's I can do that. I can make that decision. So I thought, I'm going to take this on as a challenge. I'm going to see if I can get Jim and Elaine to go on an international trip. So I thought, Paul and I went to Germany, and I thought, never going to do that. They speak a different language over there. I got to make sure that Jim can understand what he's doing. So I said, okay, Jim, I think that we should look at starting a program in England. And Jim said, why do I want to go to England? I said, you do. You and Elaine, you want to go. Next summer is the time. He said, well, let's go check it out. So I booked a trip on a thing called Fun Trips. Fun, F-U-N. It was the cheapest rate you could find. I didn't book it because it was fun. I booked it because it was cheap. Yeah. So over we go, and it was cheap enough that the people who had been in the hotels before us, their food was still outside the door. They didn't bother to clean anything. In today's world, you wouldn't even think about staying there. But Jim liked it because it was a cheap place. So we stayed there 2 nights, then we went up to Durham, England, and Jim kind of caught the bug. And I thought, okay, if he can catch the bug, we can all catch the bug. So Jim and Elaine went on that trip for 3 years and lived in England for about 2 months each summer. Elaine says that that's still the experience that Jim talks about. So the Walker College of Business, to me, all of a sudden became a Walker College of Opportunities. They opened doors, international programs, the chance to meet other business leaders coming to campus, thanks to the Harlan Boyles Lecture Series. So many things that I have seen that it truly was a college of opportunities. Jim is just too much fun for me to pick on. So, anybody who ever had a class with him would know that Jim would be in front of the class, and this really dates me. This goes back. He would be in a cloud of chalk dust. Chalk is what we used to write on the board with. Don't do that anymore. But chalk is, Jim would be up there, just a cloud of this. So I thought, okay, I had an epiphanal moment, and I did not realize it. It was a visionary moment for me, though. So I go to Tweetsy Railroad, and I talked to the owner, and I said, could you do me a favor? Could you let me borrow your goat? Goat now means greatest of all times. I didn't know that. But to me, it was just a goat, a 4-legged goat. I brought the goat home. It stayed at our house overnight. The next morning, I took it to the radio station to do a show. And then from the radio station, I took it into Jim's class. And I thought, okay, I'm going to just test his patience. I'm going to see if he can roll with the punches. And he did. Jim was up there, nothing but a cloud of chalk dust that was up there, writing away as hard as he could. So I go in and I put the goat on the podium. I put the 2 legs up here looking out at the class, and the other legs down on the bottom. It's just tabletop podium, and the goat just looked out, and Jim just kept talking. The students didn't know what was going on, so they kept writing notes. And so I said, Jim, look, old goat, new goat, they don't know the difference. It's the same thing. So Shadow the Goat became an institution for me to have in the college. Great guy, great place. So the Walker College of Business to me opened doors. It gave me great opportunities for people. It's the people. The people make it. And it was a wonderful college, a great experience, and I can say something that I would recommend for everyone. So thank you very much for letting me speak to you today.
The weather looks like it's going to be mild today.
But no matter what the weather app says, it's always good to dress in layers because in Boone, the weather can change like that. Before your first day of class, make sure to look at a map of App State. There are many different ways to get from point A to point B. For example,
if you're trying to go from I.G. Greer Hall to Walker Hall, you could walk past Rankin and cross River Street after the staff lot. You could use one of the free expression tunnels that go under River Street, or you could cross River Street at Central and walk from there.
Speaking of Central, even though the sign says Roast Dining Hall, everyone here just calls it Central. When you're trying to catch a bus, the Next Bus app can be helpful, but don't rely on it alone. Buses can usually be ahead or behind schedule. A good way to make sure you catch the next bus is to check the online schedules or take a look at the map inside the bus shelters.
The first day of class can be nerve-wracking as is, but the real challenge comes when you have to figure out where to sit. If you sit in the back row, that tells the professor that you're uninterested and don't care. If you sit in the front row, get ready to be called on a lot.
A safe bet is to sit somewhere in between, where you can mind your business without sending the wrong idea. Welcome to the 3rd floor of the library. If you're coming here, be ready to whisper. As independent as you think you may be, get ready to depend on a lot of others for your group projects, who may let you down sometimes. You won't get to pick your groups, but you will get to delegate roles within your groups. So make sure you don't give the big tasks to the slackers.
Let's go! To a place where you can grow.
A place to be heard.
And take a closer look.
A place where you can crush it.
And push yourself.
A place to find your voice.
This place rocks. And rolls.
A place where you can get out.
Wow! A place you'll never forget.
So where is this place? Let me show you.
Hi, I'm Matt Huntinar. I'm with Transfer Admissions and Engagement.
Well, I have to ask, why did you guys decide to do tie-dyeing?
Oh, wow. Well, number one, it's an activity that really should be done outside. And it's a beautiful fall day. Why not be outside in front of Mountain Laurel Hall? Makes the cleanup a little easier when we're outside. It's just fun, and it allows students to be creative. And it's, a lot of students have never done it before. Many transfer students struggle with the process of coming to a new campus. They've had success at their previous college, so when they get to App State, they may be a little reluctant to form those new connections. And so the purpose of the events is to, yes, have fun, but really help them build those connections with other offices on campus, other students, have them join other clubs. Yeah, that's why it's important to me, because this week we're celebrating National Transfer Student Week. We know that what is good for students is for them to form those circles of friendship. And so they come to dye t-shirts, but they're also making new connections, making new friends, having fun, maybe taking a break from their academics.
So where can we hear more about future events?
So we post everything in Engage, and then every week, on Monday, we send out a communication, but every week it informs transfer students of the transfer events, but also the other events, like all of the homecoming events next week, all of the wonderful things put on by career development. We feel that our social media is pretty active, and we use Instagram, Facebook, of course, and then Transfer Scoop. Thank AppTV, thanks for coming and covering the event. You're always welcome to come to the transfer student events. Thanks a lot.
Hi, my name is Melissa Weddle, and I'm Department Chair of Recreation Management and Physical Education at Appalachian State University. We offer 2 degree-granting programs, one in Recreation Management with a focus in outdoor experiential education, recreation and park management, and commercial recreation and tourism. Our second degree granting program in health, physical education, and coaching offers teacher certification for public schools in health and physical education. You can get a minor or certificate in coaching. We are the front porch to the Beaver College of Health Science, where our focus is on quality of life, wellness, and physical activity. We're located in the beautiful mountains of Boone, North Carolina. So come join us, check out our website, or take a class.
Thank you, Dr. Peacock. Next, please join me in welcoming our sixth Dean, Dr. Randy Edwards, who served as Dean of the Walker College until 2014 and also advanced to the roles of Vice Chancellor and Chief of Staff and Vice Chancellor of University Advancement. Dr. Edwards continues to serve the university in his post-retirement. How do you do that? How do you serve in a post-retirement role? But he does it and does it very well for us all, as he's currently serves as the Senior Director of Development for the university. So Dr. Edwards.
Thanks, Phil. So I learned a long time ago never to follow Ken Peacock, and here I am. So what can I say? But as Paul recruited Ken recruited me. So Ken left very suddenly in 2003. Lyle was around somewhere. Lyle was interim dean for 2 years. And then Ken came in spring of 2005. I'm sitting in the accounting department chair office, very happy to be there, 13 years. And Ken said, this is 2005. Ken said, in 1983, when I came here, I moved into your office in Walker Hall, number 326. And Ken said, now it's time for you to move in my office. And I'm thinking, so here's the chancellor, 20 plus years later, who remembers that he moved into 326 Walker Hall when I moved out. So Ken had a big influence on me professionally because I followed him as dean after those years with Lyle, but Ken was my supervisor for 11 years, and then as chancellor, we spent a lot of time together. So I came here in 1974 and started classes over in Smith Wright Hall. I was talking to Paul earlier. I took a couple of classes from Paul, Gene Butts, Al Craven, Oris Sutton, if anyone remembers Oris Sutton. Dr. Muse may remember Oris Sutton, and some great faculty members. What I learned in 1974 as a first-generation student from across the mountain, is that the College of Business, Walker College faculty really cared for their students. And so outstanding instruction from faculty members, but then opportunities. So while I was here, I happened coincidentally really to be here when the Master of Science in Accounting program was started. So I was able to stay with a scholarship for the master's program. While I was in that program, I was able to teach. That changed my life, teaching in that master's program. And so many years later, I'm still here in the various roles. I came back to teach in 1981 in my 39th year teaching, and then after those years as a student. But I don't have the record for the longest number of years at the Walker College of Business. Harry Davis has to have that. So I confirmed with Harry a few minutes ago, he came here as a faculty member in 1976, professor of banking. He's the chief economist for the North Carolina Bankers and has been for many years, and Harry's still here. So I think is that about 46 years or so, Harry?
Yes, it is.
And I could go on with stories. I know you folks, especially standing up, need some relief. But here's a Harry story. So when I was department chair, Ken was dean. We used to meet in the little room with no windows, and Harry had this habit with Clara, I think. Clara, after about an hour, if the meeting went longer than an hour, Clara would come in with this pink note, a message note, like Harry had an urgent message to go somewhere. So one of the Harry stories. So anyway, the college has meant a lot. But I had the privilege of coming at a time where the college had all these wonderful programs. So we had the William R. Holland Fellows Program, partnership with Fudan University, one of the top universities in China, top 3 universities in China. the Harlan Boyles Distinguished CEO Lecture Series, the Martha Guy Summer Institute, all of those programs were there, and that basically as dean I inherited those. So those programs continued, and really what I think about when I think about the Walker College is as I as a student had my life changed, then student lives are being changed every day. They were changed over the years when I was dean, before I was dean. They're still being changed today. So, you know, we have students still who can travel the world, who have never been on a plane. We have students who can do internships, who have those job opportunities that they have because of this legacy the Walker College has. So, a couple of stories and I'll finish, and some of you know me, I know I like stories. Holland Fellows. Brian had never been on a plane. He went with the Holland Fellows to China, spent a year working at Fudan University. Brad Sparks, who was one of Ken's students, Brad Sparks had never been on a plane. He went to China with Holland Fellows twice. He spent a semester abroad in England. Brad then traveled the world working with Phil's firm, KPMG, as the head of global sustainability. I may not have that title exactly correct. And the stories go on, but here's my favorite one. I'll close with this. I talked with her a few minutes ago. Brandy Hadley was here about 12 years ago, single mother, severe financial need, 2 children, single mother, and Brandy earned undergrad degrees, MBAs. She received multiple Dean's Club scholarships. While Brandy was here, she went to travel to China, England, and, I missed one. Brazil with Marty probably, Brazil. And so when Brandy left in about 2011, Brandy said, I will be back. Brandy is back. Brandy is Dr. Brandy Hadley, professor of finance. Brandy is not here because her CFA Challenge students are competing now. They were actually competing, I think, virtually. Last year, Brandy's students, this is the Burt Bowden Investment Group students, CFA Challenge. Last year's Brandy's students, Dr. Brandy Hadley students, won the global competition for the Americas. There were 1,200 students who competed in the Americas competition. Those 1,200, let me back up and start my story. I'm trying to talk fast. I don't talk fast. Let me back up and I'll get the story straight. Last year, Brandy's students competed in the CFA Challenge. There were 1,200 schools in the Americas competition. They came in first out of 1,200 schools in the Americas competition. So this is Dr. Brandy Hadley, PhD in finance, single mother student who came back, and she is paying back what the Walker College gave to her with all those opportunities she had over the years. So to me, my summary is the Walker College is still changing lives after 50 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Randy. Next, it's my privilege to ask Dr. Sandra Vanoy to close our program. Dean Vanoy is a self-described App State local, raised in our neighboring community of Todd, North Carolina. She is a 2-time App State alumni and joined the faculty in the Computer Information Systems Department in 1998. She was named Assistant Dean for Graduate Programs and Research in 2014, where she helped implement the Master of Science in Applied Data Analytics program and established the college's professional education program. She has also directed the college's undergraduate honors program and served as the CIS department chair. Under Dean Vanoy's guidance, in the fall of 2020, the Walker College launched its fully online MBA program. Please join me in welcoming the 8th dean, the permanent dean of the Walker College of Business, Dean Sandra Vanoy.
Thank you, Phil, for that warm welcome. Thank you, everyone, for such a warm welcome. It has been my honor to serve the Walker College of Business for more than 20 years. And what a privilege it is to be here as dean celebrating 50 years of the Walker College of Business. As the pandemic shut down much of the country and classes turned virtual, the Walker College sought a way to commemorate the 50th anniversary in a time when we couldn't gather. An eastern hemlock tree that you passed on your way to this tent was planted to represent the strength and perseverance of our community and to celebrate its 50-year history. It will grow larger and stronger just as our college has grown and will continue to grow stronger. Thank you, Chancellor, Provost, Walker College leaders, for everything you have done to make our great college what it is today. I am indeed humbled to walk in the footsteps of you great leaders. It was my personal pleasure to serve under and learn from Drs. Peacock, Edwards, and Norris. During the past 2 years, despite the challenges we've been through, Appalachian and its Walker College have achieved a great deal. Today, our alumni are reporting great rates of employment. They are making a positive impact wherever they go in the world. Our students are excelling in the classroom and also in national competitions. And as Chancellor Everts noted, every year we in the Walker College are regularly named best in something. A best business program by the Princeton Review, a best on-campus MBA, and a top 10 in the country for best MBA for human resources by U.S. News and World Report. A Tier 1 MBA school by CEO Magazine, a best, most affordable choice for supply chain management, finance, accounting, and management by University HQ. Our risk management and insurance program is ranked second, nearly best, in the entire nation. And the list goes on. We are an AACSB accredited school, as has been pointed out already, a distinction we've maintained since 1976 and that less than 5% of business schools worldwide hold. We are an innovative school. In fall 2022, we'll launch a new online supply chain management program and a minor in cybersecurity. But it's not all that makes our college great. It's us that make our college great. It's you who make our college great. Without every one of our faculty members, our staff members, the ones who came before us, our students, our alumni, we would not be the best. But together, we are outstanding. We are strong, stronger than an eastern hemlock. We are a community. We are the Walker College of Business. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dean Vinoy. That concludes our event. What a terrific celebration today. This has been outstanding. I want to thank everybody who had a hand in putting the event together today, but now it's time to wrap it up. We have plenty of refreshments in the back. I look forward to everybody sticking around and having a chance to mingle and socialize a bit. So again, thank you all very much. Have a good afternoon.